All right, guys, does everyone have their project?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Someone remind me why we did this project. Put your feet down, please. Remind me why we did this project. What was the project about? Anthony?
It was about, you gave us 12 people to research and see what their, like, social obstacles or any obstacles that they have in life that they overcome.
Okay. Any other perspective on that? Anybody else want to add to it? 12 people? Okay. Everyone in here got to choose one of those people to further research and find out some biographical information, right? Okay. But the point of it was, we've been reading what book?
The Witch of Blackbird Pond.
The Witch of Blackbird Pond. And who's our main character?
Kit.
Kit, who knows her problem? What's her problem?
Religious beliefs.
Okay, what about her religious beliefs?
They all think that she's a witch for what she does, basically.
Okay, she is a different religion than the other people in the book, most of the other people in the book. And that fact causes some social unrest for her. It's hard for her to fit in socially and those kind of things. And she has to overcome that difference and that social stigma in order to follow her dreams and achieve what she wants to do. Those 12 people that you got to choose from had very similar situations. Not all of them were religious, but they had problems that they had to overcome. And so we did this project, and today the focus of our lesson is actually going to be where you get a chance to assess yourself and assess your peers based on how well they completed the project. How many of you remember getting the guidelines for the project? Okay, so you've all seen a list of what was required of you, and we're going to base our assessment on some of those things. By the end of the lesson, and you can look up at the ICANN objectives in the front of the room, by the end of the lesson, you should be able to gather relevant information from multiple sources, print, digital, and compile them into a research project. Guess what? You've already done that part of the lesson. Okay? You should also be able to follow rules for discussions. We're about to have some discussion going on, and you guys do a great job with small group and large group discussion. So you also should be able to pose and answer or respond to questions with elaboration and detail based on different perspectives. It's important that we appreciate each other's perspective when we're doing these discussions, right? Are you exactly like the people next to you? Mm-hmm. No. So everyone does have a little different perspective. And we're going to take that into play. Our project required us to include some information such as what? Give me some reminders. Miles?
Maybe creativity.
Okay. What were the things that we were required to be creative about?
Pictures and how it really looks and how you set it all up.
Okay. Help him with that. What were some of the things that, not necessarily creativity, but some of the items that had to be involved in our project?
The dates of their lifespan.
Okay, lifespan. Avery?
Their parents' names.
Okay, background, family background. Ainsley?
The area of study.
Okay, an area of study. What is that?
Where they got their education.
Okay, where and what they studied. Where they went to school and what they studied when they went there. Were all of your people qualified with that information, or did everyone you researched or had an opportunity to research, did they have that information in their background? Not necessarily. Based on their ages. We had one of those people, and we'll talk about them in a minute, one of those people didn't make it to adulthood, so they never went to college. All right. So you did have several different things that you had to include. You also had to include something else. What was it? Call on somebody if you're not sure.
Obstacles that they had to overcome.
Yes, the obstacles, and that was the whole point of the project, was comparing their obstacles and how they overcame them to Kit's situation. And so we have all that. Hopefully that's all included in your work. If you'll look in your little box on your table, there's a half sheet. Everyone get a half sheet right quick. This is an assessment guide. It's a blank one. It's kind of generic, but everyone should be able to find one. And go ahead and put your name on the project owner line. We're going to do a self-assessment, but we're also going to assess our peers. Okay? And based on your project, based on what you know you had to include, what are some things that were key things that you think we should be checking for today? Give me one idea. Taylor, I'll call on you out of the blue. Give me an idea of something we could check on today.
Facts.
The facts. Did they include the facts? Why don't we put that in box A? You write it on yours, I'll write it on mine. All right? How can we rate this? Do you want to just say a yes or no? Or I guess you could do like a smiley and a frowny, but nobody really likes to get frowny faces. What's something we could do?
A 1 and a 2.
A 1 and a 2. You get a point or you get 2 points. What would 1 point represent?
You had a little bit of effort.
Yeah, you got some effort, maybe could use a little bit more, right? And what would a 2 represent, Dacia?
Everything,
Okay, all of the facts on the guidelines are present and accounted for. Yes, sir.
Creativity.
Okay, creativity may be another one. So we'll rate both of these with a 1 or a 2. Okay? Creativity, does that necessarily mean how well someone draws? No, not necessarily, because we all have different artistic ability and background. But it should have to do with maybe the neatness and the flow of the project, more so than any handwritten art or anything like that. What's another one? Say it loud.
Completion.
Completion. Is it completely done? Did they include all of the elements? We talked about the facts all being there, but there were a couple of other elements that were required on your guidelines. So we can base it on or gauge it on completion. All right? Before I allow you to talk to your neighbors about their projects, I want you to do a self-assessment on your project, okay? And while you're doing that, look down to the bottom of your little half sheet. It says positive notes. I want you to find one really positive thing about your project and include that on your self-assessment. And then I'd like you to find a tip or a suggestion if you were going to do this again or do another project. What's something you could do better or you might do differently? So take just a moment and do that. Yes, you mark it in the gray area. That's the self-assessment area. You got some notes on yours? Go ahead and mark yourself a positive and a negative. Or a tip. Oh, okay, I see. You just didn't write it in the gray. That's okay. That's all right. Okay? Pretty much everybody has their self-assessment done. At this time, I'm going to let you shake it up a little bit. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds. And before I tell you to go, let me give you your guidelines. You're going to get into a different group than the group you're sitting with now. You'll determine that in just a moment. I want you to look at one another's projects, talk about them, compare how yours and theirs are alike or different. And then I want you to take turns passing each project around the group and assessing your peers. Be fair, be kind. You would appreciate the same kindness, right? But be honest, especially in the positive things and the tips or suggestions that they may be able to do something a little bit better or a little neater or something next time, okay? Are there any questions about what you should do when you get into a different group? Miles?
My other partner that had the same thing, I don't have him.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll put you in a group with another subject. That's okay. We'll take care of that. All right, so you got about 10 seconds. Go around the room. Let me get, if you did I'm trying to remember the surfer. What's her name? Bethany Hamilton. I think you guys better come back here. Zach, go see if you can find somebody that's got the same one as yours. Who else had, what's another person? Anne Frank. So here's your partner right here. I guess you can get there. Find a group that's got your person. All right, and you said you're all alone. Oh, let me play the violin. Come with me. Okay, you guys gonna come over here? That'll work. You guys can compare. He just has a different research subject than you do, but that's all right. That's all right. Okay, everybody in a group with the folks pretty much that studied the same person as you? All right. Take a moment. Go ahead and swap papers with somebody. You got to give them the whole thing, your half sheet and your project. Okay? And very honestly, do a peer assessment. You're going to have to switch it where you have someone different. Okay? And guys, talk to them. Discuss what you're doing. Talk about your similarities and your differences, okay? Yes, ma'am.
We only have 2 people.
Yeah, you'll have one on his and he'll have one on yours, and that'll be okay. All right? All right, so go. I'll give you about, shouldn't take 2 or 3 minutes.
We don't put it anywhere, we just talk to him.
Right.
I think it should be like, you maybe next time we do this, maybe draw something right there just for fun.
You know what? You can actually write that on that house sheet. You can rate them. Yes, put your initials in the top, and you can rate them. Mm-hmm. Here, write him a response down there. Just a brief one would be fine. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Swap with me. On the back, you want mine? Oh, okay. Yeah. Mine's this. That's great. Judge quickly. And when I say judge, you're not grading their paper, you're just giving them some suggestions, some creative and constructive criticism. Okay. Why don't you talk to him about that? And maybe compare. That's one thing you can do, is compare in your group, compare with yours, and see if you have the same facts. Yes, you can write a positive note, definitely. Yes, yes. Go ahead and pass it. Have you already checked his?
This is his.
That's his, and that's his?
That's her.
Oh, okay, so you guys just need to do a switcheroo. Okay, good. Perfect. I like these positive notes that I'm seeing. This is nice. Okay, if you haven't switched yet, I'm going to tell you to switch quickly. Go ahead and pass it to someone else. Maybe you can finish talking to them about it later. That's okay. That's okay. I told her to switch. Okay, guys, listen to me for just a second. Give me your eyes. For the sake of time, I want to hear just a little bit of feedback from you guys. If you, based on what you have looked at so far, and I know it's been very brief, based on what you've looked at so far, what are some suggestions for this project, not necessarily per individual, but overall? What are some things that you're noticing about the project? Is it well done? Is it organized? Those kind of things. Somebody talk to me just a minute. Zach, what'd you notice?
The ones that I saw, they were pretty good, organized.
Okay, describe how they were organized.
They had like maybe a few a few things of information in one side, and then some more on the other, and then they had like a picture in the middle.
Okay, so the layout was appealing. Would you say that? All right, very good. Who else has something that they noticed about them that you want to share? Sine? Okay, talk to me about that neatness. What about it?
They had a lot of room, creativity, and they put all their hard work into it.
Okay, so their effort was obvious. That's very good. And that means a lot for the teacher to hear, because that lets me see I haven't graded them yet. So it lets me know I must be getting some good projects coming in. All right?
Part of the